All right, guys, check this out. We're going to go ahead and do a full training session. Today I'm going to go through mobility, core work, and then finish off with some lactic capacity conditioning. All right, so follow along. Let's do it. I'm going to go ahead and lay 90-90, and we're going to do what's called a hip bridge, and then into a hip shift. So I'm going to bridge up, and then from here, I'm just going to shift my hips. So I'm going to pull this leg down, and I'm going to activate the adductors, a little bit of glute medius, and then I'm going to switch. All right, so really working obliques, adductors, glute med, and I'm just shifting back and forth. This is kind of getting my hips a little bit more loose, activating the muscles that help me with internal rotation. And then from there, I'm gonna start working into full range of motion. But I like to do this right before any large amount of movement. It just kind of gets everything activated and moving the right way, especially in my hips. All right, so this one is more of a flow type of movement. Now I'm working on hip dexterity, but I'm also working on core control. So I'm gonna do a side lunge. I'm gonna sit into a side lunge using the bumper here for balance, counterbalance. And then I'm gonna shift and rotate into a lunge. Now, when I do the lunge, I'm gonna go knee over toe. So I'm gonna go ahead and stretch the hip flexors using a squeeze of the glutes. And then I'm gonna drive my knee over the toe with my heel staying down to also get dorsiflexion. So I'm working the ankle and the hips, all right? It's a little bit more challenging than it looks. Biggest thing is that we want to maintain core control. So I don't want to be shifting all over the place. That's why I got the bumper plate. Get as deep as you can with it. Now, if you don't have the active end range control, don't go that deep, right? Even if you can just get to here, that's fine. Open, close, shift, and then go into it. But the deeper the better, right? So first gain the range, and then you can work and flow through that range. All right, so each position, stay in there for about 1, 2, maybe even 3 seconds long. Just enough to solidify the position and then flow to the next position. All right, so Jefferson curl. You got bumper plates. You put yourself on top of the bumpers. Make sure you can get full range of motion. Now, the goal here is to segment the spine, all right? So I'm going segment by segment, working through cervical spine, thoracic spine, lumbar, and going as slow as possible. Now, I'm going really lightweight because that's not the goal. The goal is to just get that range of motion effectively and efficiently and work through flow of that range of motion. So it's getting there. It's not the best, but we're getting there. All right, so if you like these exercises, make sure you check out my school community. Daru Club is now officially launched. It's available for anyone, not just coaches, not just athletes, but anyone that wants to level up. Big community, we're growing fast. Love everybody that's in there. So if you want to be a part of it, click the link down below and let's get after it.
What's the purpose of the bumper plates instead of just doing it on the floor?
So you get more range of motion. So the higher I put myself up, the deeper I can get into that range. Typically, you can use a barbell, you can use kettlebells, you can use dumbbells, or if you're really just trying to work the movement, you could work it just body weight, but typically you want to have something in your hands. I also like a kettlebell front rack position because then you can really kind of fold over that kettlebell. But this allows me to maintain more that neutral posture, and then when I go into segmenting my spine, I can actually feel each segment kind of rolling forward and then unraveling back up. And that's the real goal, is to have control throughout the full range of motion. All right, so the Jefferson curl is a closed chain spinal segmentation. Now we went to the reverse hyper and doing an open chain, right? So that means my feet are off the ground. Still segmenting the spine, working the posterior chain, isolating one segment as you go down, and making sure you flow throughout that range of motion. So really good to start when you're trying to just get more range and get more fluidity in the body. It also activates the posterior chain muscles. So definitely good to do whether you are getting ready to do conditioning or weight training. All right, so kind of implementing 2 in 1 here. You guys know, you've been following me, you know I like to combine, right? So we have the arm bar, right, into a press, working on T-spine rotation, shoulder stability, and then as we go back, we're gonna flow through right into a Turkish getup. So a Turkish getup, again, is gonna help with core stability, shoulder stability, strength, coordination. As I do it, I'm gonna maintain my positioning. I'm not gonna rush anything. You also wanna make sure that you have the proper joint prerequisites to do this. So if you don't have the range of motion, don't go with heavier load, right? One, start off with no weight, start to gain more range in each joint capsule, and then start to load it appropriately. But this is something I've been doing for a long time, so you can go fairly heavy, but since it's a warm-up, we'll slowly start to increase it. All right, so this is the rotational press. I'm using kettlebells. I like the kettlebells because it gives me a better feeling when I'm holding them in my arms. Again, the weight is distributed down, so it's just a different feeling in the arms. When you do it though, I want you to rotate. When you rotate, you're gonna press. So I'm pressing and holding the other side in a front rack position. The goal here is to maintain your thoracic positioning, not get overly extended. Now I have a roller in between my legs because I wanna keep my hips in this straightforward position. So I don't want to turn my hips. I want to disassociate the hips from the thoracic spine and even the lumbar spine. So I'm not really turning too much in the lumbar. I'm really trying to really focus on more thoracic rotation. So my abs are still engaged, my obliques are still engaged. And as I go to press, I'm also squeezing my glutes so that I don't get too far into extension, especially in the low back. All right, so we have an isometric contraction. So we're working the posterior chain. This is going to be a static position, but as I drop the ball, there's a yielding force that is applied, meaning that when I drop it, I have to catch it and stop gravity from pulling me down and the ball down with it. So again, you're working some eccentric, right, absorption of force, but I'm also maintaining this isometric position. So you're really working the posterior chain from the hamstrings, glutes, low back. As I drop the ball, right, a little bit of less tension, but then when I grab, I have to recontract. So really good to do, especially for athletes, combat sport athletes, this is vital. All right, this is a rough one, so make sure you pick a weight that you can do, or just no weight to start. Working the entire oblique sling, posterior and interior. Obviously, you're hitting some of the glutes, hitting some hamstrings, which tie into the backside oblique sling, posterior. Interior, still hitting your obliques. Hitting a little bit of lat because you're turning, rotating. And I also feel it in my pecs too as well because, again, I'm going cross body. So it's almost a full body movement, but really good. If you're a judoka, if you're a jiu-jitsu practitioner, a grappler, these rotations are really gonna help with your throws. And again, it also makes you stable inside a guard, or if you're looking to sweep or anything like that, this is something that you wanna throw in the arsenal. So working into anti-rotation, doing the tabletop kettlebell pull-throughs, working a little bit of upper back, a little bit of shoulder, you're pulling it through, but you're trying to maintain your positioning. So if you need to, grab a cone or even a cup and put it on your back. Make sure that cup doesn't spill or the cone doesn't fall off your back. As you go to pull, don't overly pull into rotation. So it's similar to like a payloft press where we're trying to maintain a solid posture, but as you go to pull, I still want force being produced with that pull. So again, you have to maintain your stability while you're being forceful as you go to the pull. Now, another thing is these can be done in high volume and you can go as heavy as you need to, just as long as the technique doesn't go out and you lose your form. So it's a good one I like to do, not only for this type of training, but you can throw it in as a corrective exercise too as well before you go and do some type of major compound lift. All right, so decline sit-ups, right? This is full anterior chain work, so you even feel it in your hip flexors. Sometimes I'll feel it deep in the adductors too as well, because I'm pulling and internally rotating as I come down. As I come up, I'm using my rectus abdominis and my abs. And I like to use the dumbbells too as well. Kind of keeps me upright instead of just rounding my shoulders forward, so I try to stay with good posture as much as possible. As I come down, maintaining my momentum, I'm not just flopping back down, coming down controlled and then exploding up. All right, so now we're gonna be doing our lactic capacity training. So basically what we're trying to do is help buffer out lactate. And simply put, this is some endurance work that you can do, especially for what I'm getting ready for with the Ruck 100, where I'm doing 100 miles. I'm gonna take a sandbag. This sandbag weighs 130 pounds. I'm gonna go ahead and carry it for distance, as far as I can get within 1 minute, drop the sandbag, go over to the ski erg, and do 1 minute ski ergs and try to get as much distance covered there too as well. I'm gonna take only a 1 minute break, so it's a 2-to-1 work to rest ratio, and then I'm gonna get right back to it again after the minute rest. We're gonna do about 6 rounds of these, making sure that you can try to bring down your heart rate as fast as possible in between the rest period. All right, let's do it. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so trying to bring the heart rate down within this minute. Diaphragmatic breathing. Gotta breathe through the diaphragm, mainly through the nasal cavity, out through the mouth. So the last round we did 300 meters, and I did 200 feet on a 130 pound ball. So I'll try to hit those numbers, try to beat my numbers. Probably could, because I'm an old man now. I turned 37 next week.
Kind of washed.
Kind of washed. What's up guys, Daru here. Make sure you like this video and subscribe for more. See you on the next one.